हेलो स्टूडेंट्स, वेलकम टू आवर यूट्यूब चैनल। इस वीडियो में आपको पॉलिटिकल साइंस से रिलेटेड बहुत ही मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन आंसर्स देखने को मिलेंगे जो कि इस बार के एग्ज़ाम में आपके लिए मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट हो सकते हैं। तो इस वीडियो को बिना स्किप किए देखते रहिए। एग्ज़ाम पैटर्न पे थोड़ा बात कर लेते हैं। एग्ज़ाम जो आपका पॉलिटिकल साइंस का होगा वो 100 मार्क्स का होगा और एग्ज़ाम लिखने के लिए आपको टाइम ड्यूरेशन 3 घंटे का ही मिलेगा। क्वेश्चन देख लेते हैं। एक्सप्लेन द एग्जीक्यूटिव पावर्स ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट। एंड द आंसर इज द प्रेसिडेंट इज हेड ऑफ द स्टेट एंड एग्जीक्यूटिव पावर्स ऑफ द यूनियन हैव बीन वेस्टेड इन हिम। The President is empowered to exercise these powers either directly or through officers subordinate to him, which means through the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers also. His executive powers are given below. First point, the President appoints the Chief Justice and other judges of the Supreme Court and High Courts. However, in all judicial appointments, the Chief Justice of India is consulted. Besides, the President may also consult each other judges of the Supreme Court as the President may be deemed necessary. While appointing Chief Justice and Justices of High Courts, the President has to consult the State Governor also. In the appointment of High Court judges, the President also consults the Chief Justice of the state. Next question is, describe functions of the Vice President of India. And the answer is, the Vice President is the ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha, which means that whosoever is the Prime Minister, Vice President, he or she presides over the Rajya Sabha and performs normal duties of a presiding officer. These include maintenance of order in the House, allowing members to speak and ask questions, and putting bills and motions to vote. Since the Vice President is not a member of the Rajya Sabha, he or she cannot vote in the House. But in case of a tie, the Vice President exercises his or her casting vote so that a decision can be reached. If ever a vacancy arises in the office of President due to death, resignation or impeachment, the Vice President officiates as the President for not more than 6 months. During that period, he enjoys all powers of the President and does not preside over the House when the officiates as President. Next question is, describe the powers and functions of the Cabinet. And the answer is, it has enormous powers and manifold responsibilities. All the executive powers of the President are exercised by the Cabinet headed by the Prime Minister. The Cabinet determines and formulates the internal and external policies of the country. It takes all major decisions regarding defense and security of the country. It has also to formulate policies so as to provide better living conditions for the people. Cabinet has control over national finance. The Cabinet is responsible for whole of the expenditure of the government as well as for raising necessary revenues. It is the Cabinet that prepares the text of President's address to the Parliament. The Cabinet is also responsible for the issuance of ordinances by the President when the Parliament is not in session. The sessions of the Parliament are convened by the President on the advice of the Cabinet conveyed through the Prime Minister. The Cabinet prepares the agenda of the sessions of the Parliament. Next question is, describe the individual responsibility of the ministers. And the answer is, though the ministers are collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha, they are also individually responsible to the Lok Sabha. Individual responsibility is enforced when an action taken by a minister without the concurrence of the Cabinet or the Prime Minister is criticized and not approved by the Parliament. Similarly, if person conduct of a minister is questionable and unbecoming, he may have to resign without affecting the fate of the government. Question is, describe the legislative functions of the Parliament. And the answer is, basically the Parliament is of a law-making body. in an earlier lesson, you have seen that there is a division of power between the center and the state. There are three lists: union list, state list, and the concurrent list. Only Parliament can make laws on the subjects mentioned in the union list. The union list has 97 subjects. Along with the state legislature, the Parliament is empowered to make laws on the concurrent list. In case both the center as well as the states make a law on the subject mentioned in the concurrent list, then the central law prevails upon the state law. If there is a clash between the two, any subject not mentioned in any list, that is, residuary powers, are vested with the Parliament. Next question is, write short note on Panchashil Agreement. And the answer is, Panchashil Agreement is a 5 guiding principles known as Panchashil as the for the conduct of bilateral relations between India and China. It includes the following. First, mutual respect for each other's territorial integrity and sovereignty. Second number point, mutual non-aggressions. Third number point, mutual non-interference in each other's internal affairs. Fourth number point, equality and mutual benefit. Fifth number point, peaceful coexistence. Next question is, what is non-alignment? And the answer is, non-alignment has been regarded as the most important feature of India's foreign policy. Non-alignment aimed to maintain national independence in foreign affairs by not joining any military alliance formed by the USA and Soviet Union in the aftermath of the Second World War. It was a dynamic concept which meant not committing to any military bloc but taking an independent stand on international issues according to the merits of each other. Next question is, write short note on India's contribution to UN efforts for disarmament. And the answer is, the United Nations, which came into being on October 2024. 1945 has been the most important international organization since the Second World War. The UN has a vital role in world affairs. It has worked to protect the security of people and promote peace and development. One way in which UN has contributed to world peace is by taking up the cause of disarmament. India has also contributed immensely to UN's disarmament efforts. Since independence, India has consistently pursued the objective of global disarmament based on the principles of non-discrimination. Given the destructive capacity of nuclear weapons, India has always believed that a world free of nuclear weapons would enhance global security. Thus, India has always advocated that highest priority be given to nuclear disarmament as a first step towards general and complete disarmament. Next question is, India has contributed to UN significantly on disarmament in terms of ideas, resolutions, initiatives, and bridging differences through the action plans. In 1948, India had proposed limiting the use of atomic energy to peaceful purposes and elimination of nuclear weapons from national arsenals. Next question is, define Joint Public Service Commission. And the answer is, 2 or more states may agree that there should be one Public Service Commission for them. If a resolution to that effect is passed by the House or by each House of Legislature of the respective states, Parliament may by law provide for the appointment of Joint State Public Service Commission to serve the needs of these states. Next question is, write short note on Panchashil Agreement. And the answer is, Panchashil Agreement is a 5 guiding principles known as Panchashil as the for the conduct. Next question is, explain the composition of the Union Public Service Commission. And the answer is, for the purpose of the higher level civil services of the Union Government, the Constitution provides for the setting up of the Union Public Service Commission. The number of members of the Commission and the conditions of their service are left to be determined by the President, which means the government. It has since It has since been decided that there shall be a chairman and 6 to 8 members of the commissions. The chairman and the members of the commissions are appointed by the president. A member holds office for a term of 6 years from the date he joins duty or until he attains the age of 65 years, whichever is earlier. The chairman is ineligible for any future employment under the government, but other members are entitled to accept the chairmanship of the UPSC or of a state public service commission. Next question is, explain the role of bureaucracy in development. And the answer is, bureaucracy has become a universal phenomenon. It is a prerequisite of modernization of every society. Most developing countries are engaged in the process of nation building and bringing about rapid socio-economic development, that is, providing social services such as health, education, infrastructure like roads, electricity, productive activities in agriculture, industry, etc. Here, public administration becomes the key agency of development. Bureaucracy can immensely contribute to development by serving as an advisor, as an inventor, and a decision maker. Next question is, India has contributed to UN significantly on disarmament in terms of ideas, resolutions, initiatives, and bridging differences through the action plans. In 1948, India had proposed limiting the use of atomic energy to peaceful purposes and elimination of nuclear weapons from national arsenals. अगर आपको ये वीडियो पसंद आया हो तो ज़रूर से इस वीडियो को लाइक ज़रूर करें और हमारे इस चैनल को सब्सक्राइब ज़रूर करें इस तरह के वीडियो को देखते रहने के लिए। मिलते हैं आपसे नेक्स्ट वीडियो में। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर वॉचिंग।